didn't see that coming.
Welcome to Bellevue. It's the home of Wakefield Trinity Rugby League Football Club, but today it's also the home of Royal Air Force Rugby League as they take on the Royal Navy in both the men's and the women's competition. Of course, the men's game, which will be coming up later on, it's wide open in terms of the championship. All three could win the title today. As far as the women are concerned, though, it's a battle royal between the Royal Navy and the RAF.
What a tackle.
Wow.
I have with me now the two head coaches for the women's game, Matt Bayliss and Dan Tompkins. And Matt, first of all, come to you. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, you took on the Army, and a big learning lesson there, so a lot to take into this game.
Yeah, I mean, I said it when I was commentating against the RAF and the Army last week. Lacked a little bit of organisation, so we've had 2 weeks now to put it straight. Hopefully we can go into a game with a bit of a happier feeling and just see what we can show on the pitch today. It's always a good fixture, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, plenty of rivalry, of course, friendly rivalry as well, Dan. But when you get on that, when the ladies get on that pitch, that's when the friendship ends for a while.
It does end, yeah, but it's great that these ladies all get on off the pitch as well, which is brilliant in rugby league and a great thing for the sport.
And to come here to a big stadium like this and play, it must have been an awful lot to both sets of players.
Oh yeah, to come out and be within a stadium like this is a great opportunity for all the players. We didn't get to do it last week, which was a bit disappointed about, but we get to come and do it here against a really good Navy outfit.
Nice looking pitch as well, Matt, today.
It's like a carpet. I was saying before, like even just walking around it and walking on it, it's so good to be on. It's done well. The groundsman's done well, and I'm just really looking forward to the girls getting a chance to go on it.
Now, of course, you both already lost to the Army this year, but I think in terms of the way you both performed, there's a lot to take into this game, isn't there? There's a lot of things that have improved.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's going to be a good game today. A few decisions didn't go our way last week, which probably spoiled the game a little bit, but it is what it is. We get on with it, and we go into this game with full confidence again.
And for you, Matt, exactly the same. I mean, you in the past, the Navy have shipped an awful lot of points, a lot more than you did 2 weeks ago in Portsmouth.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the main points we made last week. If we turn around and look at the scoreboard, fair enough, it's 36-0, but there's so much to take from it. There's so much to be had from it as well, and they just need to know that they did themselves proud, they did the Navy proud, and looking at the way that both teams set up, it's just going to be a cracking fixture today. It looks like everything's just got to be met in the middle, and we're going to have a really good game.
And so bearing in mind that 2 years ago there wasn't a Navy fixture in the inter-services, so clearly you've got some young women who are both from the Air Force and from the Navy who really want to play rugby league, and that's the most important thing.
Oh, massively. It's great to see that the sport's growing every year. They all get on outside the camps, like I said before, which is great to see. And the sport is definitely on the rise. We just need to keep growing that and keep supporting that and get support from all three tri-nations. So we've got like the Army, Navy and the RAF need to push it and keep that going.
So, I mean, obviously the aim is both of you for victory today, but I guess you can both shake hands, can't you, before the game?
Oh, of course they can, yeah.
Great game,
Always have a good game. Yeah,
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So that's the view from the two coaches. How about the actual game itself? Let's join our commentators now, shall we? Emily White, the captain of the Army Women's Rugby League team, and Kath Brazier.
Wakefield Trinity Stadium here in the Bellevue area of Wakefield. We are up north again for the third and final round of Inter-Services Rugby League, and it's all in the balance in the men's game, but in the women's game the Army are already champions, and I am delighted to be joined by Emily White, captain of the British Army team, victorious captain, and of course you had a great couple of weeks against the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force. So Emily, thank you so much for joining us, fresh from victory. I know that this game for the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force points-wise, probably doesn't matter, but they're playing for pride. And you've played against both of them now, so I'm not saying we're not going to go early and go big and call the score now. But could you at least tell us what both teams were like, where their strengths are, and what you'd expect to see out there today?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for having me here today. I'm really invested in the women's game and the outcome of this fixture. I really want the Navy to do well. I really want them to keep a keen interest in attending and competing at the inter-services. The RAF are a strong team. I think last year the game between us was 10-0.
Yeah.
I think part of that was the weather conditions. But
not a very friendly pitch, was it?
No. But no, I'm really looking forward to watching this game. The RAF are probably sitting on the top. I'm probably feeling quite confident going into this game. But I really think if the Navy's going to come up and win it, this is a year. They've got an opportunity here, so I'm really excited for them.
Yeah, we were lucky to have Matt Bayliss on as commentary for last week's game when the Army were playing the RAF, and Matt seems to be part of. I feel like we've talked about it for a while, that the Royal Navy team in particular in this sort of development, and they'll have 5 years maybe where they can build up, but as a service, they've got a strong rugby union sort of history. Is it the same in rugby league? Are they? Do you talk to those players from the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy? Because the Army have only ever won in rugby league, we should make that a point. The Army women are unbeaten in services rugby league. How much help and how much sort of support can you give to your other services, RAF and Royal Navy women, so that you can grow the game together?
Yeah, it's actually something that we discussed at our AGM, because the year before, where we weren't able to play a fixture against the Navy and had to organise a civilian team to play against us, that was really downheartening, and I wouldn't want that for my girls and for the Navy girls, because they're missing out on this experience. We looked at what information we could share, and how we could encourage their management teams and their organisations to work better to support the girls. There's something that I found out just at the last fixture, actually, after being there to present my girls with their caps. The RAF and the Navy both said that that's something that they've not had this year, and that really hurt me. And that's something that I'll be looking into, pecking on someone's head and trying to get organised for them, because that's not fair, and that's not encouraging the girls to come and play. So
you were quite outspoken last year about the conditions you had at Salford. I think especially because the men's game was then hosted at a Super League stadium. We're not going to go into the equality row here on BFBS, because I think it's all been said and done, and we know that there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. But you've got to play against these women and play with them at UCAF level, and you want to give them the sort of the foundations that they deserve. And what's it like when you get to play with them at UCAF level? It's suddenly not all Army anymore.
Yeah, I think that's where it becomes really difficult, because not being our opposition, they're then our teammates, and we want them to have had the best preparation to come in and playing alongside us. I was really happy to see that both teams actually played some civilian fixtures, and I think both of them were quite successful. So I want more of that. I want them to want to enter things like the Super League South the same as us. We should all be aiming to be competing at that level, and obviously there's not the amount of women who have got that keen interest in rugby to create the core teams, to have every core with their own team at the moment. But it's something that we're looking to do in the Army. I think we've got 2 successfully up and running teams. Is the Army Medical Services, which is actually coached by Pete Smith, who's running the touch today.
Yes, yeah.
And then we've got the RLC, who's coached by Jack, who's actually been supporting some of the Army stuff as well, and it's been really good to see him and how he works with the girls. So.
Yeah, I mean, how much sort of cross kind of communication between the men's team, the development team, and the women's team as a service, where you can lean on them possibly for the experience that they give?
I think that's something that we really want to try and foster more of, is that one team approach. We really looked at trying to organise some stuff like joint group activities this year at Inter-Services, but it should be something that we're doing all year. Like we should always be joining up, doing joint fixtures, charity stuff, and that's the aim anyway.
Right, so we have both teams now coming onto the pitch for this third and final inter-services fixture. And as I said earlier, the British Army women have already won this tournament. They won that with 2 decisive victories, 36-0 against the Royal Navy women and 34-0 against the RAF women. I don't want to hammer on about too much, but that's the second year in a row that you've not had a point scored against you guys, the Army. So, you know, you are not unreachable, but you are quite far ahead. But we do hope that this, I think, because of those scores, you sort of on paper, you sort of think, hang on, this could be really close, you know. And the RAF and the Royal Navy weren't out against you, against the Army. It just seemed that they didn't have that final kind of move to make a score. But, you know, they certainly made a show, you know, at least made you battle for it.
Yeah, I think especially the Navy, I think when they come to play against us, their defence is really good. And then when they have the ball to attack with, they struggled a bit. But I think that's because all coaches were all adamant that the game's built around defence, and that's probably where they've started and spent most of their preparation time. But I'm looking forward to see what they've done with another week under their belts. And the RAF, yeah, they're getting there. They pinned us down in our try-line area for a moment, but managed to keep them out. So we'll see. I think the RAF might have more on attack than the Navy do, but... OK,
well, look, Emily, as they're being introduced to VIPs here at Wakefield, I'm just going to go through the RAF team first off, as they are hosting today. Full-back, number 1, you've got Lynn Booker-Brown. On the wing is Robin Baker. In the centre is Jessica Wood. And one of the captains today, Chelsea Greasley. On the other wing is Samantha Wayne. Standoff is Katie Seagrave. Scrum half, Rachel Cousins. At prop, Licia Fizelau, and hooker, Rachel Robertson. Another prop is Hannah South. Second row, Grace Houghton Burnett. Another second row, is Lenny Mahone. And we also have Alice Fisher, co-captain at loose forward, and she'll be wearing the 15 shirt today, and Hannah South is going to be wearing 18 shirt today. So that is the Royal Air Force team. Let's just go through the Royal Navy lineup as well. At fullback, we've got Jasmine Abel. At wing, 2 wings, you've got Jodie Mills, who's vice-captain, and Ellis Thorpe. The 2 centres, Abigail Ashby and Mia Edson. At standoff, you've got Emma Swinton. Scrum half, the ever-present Olivia Critchley-Peddle, because I know she's cross-code as well, and, you know, she's everywhere on the pitch. At 2 props, Lucy Honeybell and Andrea Craddock. Hooker, you've got Caitlin Render. Second rows are Rachel Marley and Maria Law, and loose forward is Sian McLaughlin, who captains the side for the Royal Navy today. So those are your lineups. Emily White has researched this match more than any other BFBS commentator, bar maybe John Knighton, I can tell you in history. She has got notes on every single player out there, so you will learn a lot about these girls today. And again, I think that's you pushing, you know, people want to know about personalities, don't they? And, you know, we'll hopefully learn a lot about these girls as the match goes on. But for now, let's listen out for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand to the national anthem.
Rousing rendition then of the national anthem between the Royal Air Force women and the Royal Navy women. And like I said, this match doesn't matter inter-services wise, but it will matter the world to these very evenly matched teams. And we're hoping for some incredible rugby league here this afternoon in the beautiful Wakefield sunshine. We've had it all this tournament, haven't we, Emily? I mean, every kind of weather they threw at us last year and last week in St Helens, but I think we're going to be lucky today.
I think in the warm-up for our game we had every season, the torrential rain was horrendous, but the game wasn't that bad, so at least there's sun today.
I mean, I know I'm sitting here in, well, I'm not sitting, I'm standing, I just like to point that out, but it's fairly comfortable up here in our commentary gantry. But I do remember last week it started raining, and then when the rain cleared up, the sun came and it was right in our eyes, and Chris, our cameraman, had real struggle. So I won't stop moaning, you know, the weather can never be perfect in my opinion, and we are very close to kick-off here, and Rachel Robertson, I can see there, she's again another, I sort of liken her and Olivia Critchley are quite similar.
They're both quite feisty.
Yeah,
yeah,
small and mighty.
Yeah, Rachel's actually played for 14 seasons.
She has.
Which
she
means
has.
She would have played in every inter-services. So there's a little fact for you there.
Yeah, I told her it's time for an RAF win if you've been playing 14 seasons. But here we are. We'll kick off here at Wakefield Trinity. The RAF played deep into Royal Navy territory. And let's see how it goes. I've said to Emily, say what you see. She's the rugby league expert here. I am just here to keep things ticking over, Emily, but I'm really, really, really pleased to have you. So, you know, you tell us what's happening, and
yeah, I was just going to say they've let it bounce there from the kick, so probably the RAF will look to exploit that again, and hopefully maybe get a knock on or get it to go off the end of the pitch.
And yeah, a huge advantage just to be that deep in territory so early on in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Some good defence there, keeping them in the air with the RAF.
The Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force then with all to prove here in the final week of inter-services competition.
Good carry by Shannon there.
And Damien Clayton, Emily, last week talked about completion a lot. Is that a word that sort of drilled through you?
Yeah, for sure. I think that if you're making them complete the tackles, the full tackles in every set, you're going to tire them out, and that's what you want to do, really. You don't want to give away the ball too early.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that didn't really go far enough, did it? So the RAF with a huge advantage here. They're in Royal Navy territory, and they are at the beginning of a set. Royal Air Force then in dark blue with claret shorts. Royal Navy in their red, blue and white stripes, looking very marine-like. Offside from the Royal Navy, so another set for the RAF.
Hopefully the RAF can get some points here if they work it right.
And that penalty was not being 10 metres, and that's quite common, isn't it? There's quite a few instances in rugby league where the opposition doesn't go back 10 metres, and the RAF have got an incredible opportunity here, Emily.
Yeah, definitely. To have a whole set starting from so deep in the Navy's half. Nice carry from Alice there.
I feel like Alice is a backbone to this RAF team with her sort of, you know, Super League experience and what have you. And that's Grace.
Is she over?
They certainly think so. Grace Houghton-Burnett over for the RAF within the first 3 minutes of play, and the RAF are already on the board 4-0, and that purely really came from Royal Navy not kicking deep enough and then incurring a penalty as well where they didn't go back 10 metres. So the Royal Air Force women then first to draw blood here at Wakefield Trinity. They are 4-0 up, and we'll see.
Got some facts about our try scorer, Grace. She's previously played for the Warrington Wolves in 2020, and she'd like people to know that she's not currently signed for a club outside the military. So any scouts listening, she's available.
I did think we did advertising here on BFBS, but I'm happy to support her career as Katie Seagrave here coming forward to take the kick for the RAF, see if they can make the most out of that 4 points and add another 2. And successful that kick there, so the Royal Air Force women are 6-0 up here at Wakefield within the first 4 minutes of this fixture against the Royal Navy. I mean, we've got a long way to go, but that's a really strong start from the Air Force women.
Yeah, it's a really strong start, and like you said, it's from that nice deep kick they had. The Navy worked out well, but the kick wasn't long enough, so the RAF just have really taken the points there.
Just notice Alice Fisher's hair. I know we shouldn't concentrate too much on people's looks on this commentary, but she there's quite a lot going on there.
Yeah, I spoke to some of the girls about it last week. I said, oh, I love the ribbons, girls. And they said they just bought a big roll of them and they've gone wild. So I'm a big fan of that.
So the Air Force women then 6-0 up here at Wakefield Trinity. And wherever you're joining us, whether that's on Forces News Facebook or Forces News YouTube or on BFBS TV, we are live here from Wakefield Trinity. And it's a beautiful day for end of season rugby league. Do let us know where you're watching from, who you're watching. We love hearing you.
Just managed to keep hold of that one there. Alice having another drive. Great meets after contact there.
The RAF then back on the attack on the halfway point here.
Lovely drive from Hannah. I think her and Grace, the two giants of women's rugby league in the military. Very difficult to tackle, both of them.
Is that a height thing then?
Yeah.
Yeah, they certainly stand out. Chelsea Greasley there with, unfortunately, losing the ball in that tackle.
Let's see what the Navy can do now.
And penalty incurred there, so yeah, Royal Navy ball.
I think this is something that I noticed the other week. There's quite some indecisiveness around light decisions and the ruck. I'm not sure. I think both teams have co-captains or double vice-captains, which for me, maybe because I'm quite in control and like to be captain on my own, that would be quite difficult for me. So it's interesting seeing how the other teams are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone's got their reasons, or every team has their reasons for how they manage it. Obviously, I think in the RAF side, it's largely down to experience, who's been appointed co-captains there. But Royal Navy make a great run of it here. As furthest they've been down into the Royal Air Force's half all game. Olivia Critchley-Peddle there again.
Maybe need to look at spreading the ball wide here.
I felt that that's what was missing against the Army, is they were strong in the middle, but getting the ball out wide was where little mistakes happened, and therefore they couldn't get the scores that you guys were achieving.
Oh, got a penalty here. Let's really hope they can get over and get some points.
Okay, so they're going to run the ball. The Royal Navy then with the best opportunity they've had so far in this game. They are 6-0 down against the Royal Air Force.
Oh, some good defence there.
Great defence. Yeah, that's lost them a few yards there. They're back to where they started.
The ball through Spinners.
And they've got space out on the left there.
Oh, managed to get an offload there.
Yeah,
Still
running
going,
through,
still
yeah.
going.
Running through 4 defenders. That's a strong carry there from the Royal Navy.
Just looking a
Can
bit
they
flat
use-
there
oh,
now.
that's-
Yeah,
yeah.
knock on.
Yeah, some basic mistakes like that, getting too carried away with the carry there. And possession is back with the Royal Air Force women.
They're going to have to work hard in defence here, keep them in some good territory for when they attack again.
Rachel Robertson then passing out.
I think the RAF are probably really missing Alex Barnes at this point. She was such a strong runner.
Now the RAF this week have only got 2 subs, 2 interchanges, and that's due to 4 injuries that they picked up last week. Whether that will be telling after 80 minutes or, you know, even after 60 minutes, because we all know rugby league is brutal and a full 80 minutes is a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and especially from your middles. I think they really tire them out. Hopefully they have got someone to swap in with them.
So the Royal Navy penalised again. So Royal Air Force have a whole new set and a few extra metres as well.
They're trying to drive her out. Bit of inexperience in the tackle there. No one was holding her down at all. Another offload to Lynn Brooker-Brown. Did really well in call up to UCAF this year.
And we have Grace again, Grace Houghton-Burnett. Not sure if that wasn't forward.
Oh, she's managed to keep it in.
Yeah,
there,
Jessica Wood there managing to keep it in. That was good. Good hands. Back with Houghton-Burnett into Alice Fisher's hands. But she can't take it.
An overlap now on the right.
The RAF then. End of their set. Yeah, Royal Navy need to take that cleanly and put the pressure on. Yeah, well done to the RAF.
Let's see what they can do here.
Well, I think they've moved sideways there rather than forwards.
Yeah, I think that's the difficulty when people choose the option to scoot. I'm not a fan of it myself.
The Royal Navy then with a 6-point deficit here at Wakefield Trinity. But it is early days, and Olivia Critchley-Peddle takes 4 of them to take her down. Feisty nature then. Coming through, and the Royal Navy already looking, wow, a lovely run there. Look, great carry. They'll need more of that if they want to get closer to the try line. Critchley-Peddle again, with the kick forward. Probably not as far as she wanted it. Picked up nicely by Samantha Wayne.
Oh, nicely chased by Jodie there.
Yeah,
great
lovely.
Tackle.
I love it when it takes 4 tacklers to take someone down. I sort of think...
It's one of those things as well, because it's all part of the game. You want to make that tackle as slow as you can as the defending team to give your team more chance to get back and rest.
This already looks a much cleaner performance from both sides. A fantastic run there from Rachel Cousins, and she's made some brilliant metres for the Royal Air Force women. Rachel Robertson there tackled and lost the ball. So Navy ball.
It's the first scrum of the game, is it?
I believe so, yes.
See if Rachel gets up to her antics in the scrum this time round as well. I was on the receiving end of a little push and also a kiss.
Explain that comment.
In the middle of the scrum, Rachel was trying to wind me up.
Oh, I thought she was such a even-tempered character.
No, me and Rachel get on really well.
Yeah. Yeah, what goes on? We always want a GoPro in that scrum. In both codes, I'd love to know what goes on underneath the melee. Oh, I do. I want to know. The melee that is a scrum in both codes. So Jasmine Abel then putting the ball in for, sorry, Jodie Mills, isn't it? Sorry. Good yardage there from the Royal Navy.
Good carry from Shan.
Makes such a difference, doesn't it, Emily, when you're playing on a pitch like this? It's so well kept and obviously maintained, even though they're building half the stadium on the other side of us, but you know, suddenly rugby looks like a very clean game.
Yeah, exactly. I looked at the men's development team when they come off, and the Navy's kit was all still white. I was like, how's that happened?
Yeah, I remember you guys up against the RAF last year, and you all came off brown. I couldn't tell who. I mean, forget seeing the numbers on the Royal Navy shirts, which is hard at the best of times. Yeah, last year was, well, it was almost comical.
I really like the detailing on the Navy shirts, actually. They've got sisters on the bottom, like the men's team.
Yeah,
They've got
band of brothers, band of sisters, yeah. I like their outfits. It just, as someone who is going by their shirt numbers, I find it quite hard to see what they say.
Oh, that's a great turnover there.
RAF ball then. And the RAF definitely capitalising here on their early score. But the Navy have held them back. I mean, it can go both ways, can't it? You can suddenly score again. The Royal Navy have come out fighting.
Going back to that turnover from Chelsea Greasley, we've actually come up against her a few times in the Super League South, playing for Cardiff Demons, where she's done really well.
So Jessica Wood there with a great handoff from Nasia Fisalau. And Rachel Cousins there, I think, losing the ball. Yeah, and she's going to need a little bit of a... Rachel Cousins then just down at the minute, but she's moving about. I just think she's taken a hit on the shoulder there in that tackle. What can you tell us about Rachel Cousins?
It says that she works in protective security, and that she's been in rugby league on and off since 2019, and also plays rugby union.
She not one to mess with then, isn't she?
No. I hope she's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's sitting up and moving about. I just think, yeah, she took a bit of a crick. She sort of fell badly on her shoulder there, so just checking the movement.
I think so far we've had some really good defence from both sides. RAF looking better in attack. I think the Navy need to work on their speed at the play the ball. They've had a few opportunities where they've had overlaps, but not been able to make any use of them because they haven't played the ball quick enough.
Yeah, they've had both teams have had a couple of chances out wide. But like you say, defence has been strong, and I think that was the biggest, I suppose, positive that to take from the games against the Army, British Army ladies, was that both the RAF and the Royal Navy, despite being down by a score, or many scores in these cases, they kept defending. I mean, they kept attacking as well, but the defence was actually quite impressive from both sides, given that that they could be forgiven for having the heads down and what have you.
Yeah, they never give up. I think both sides have got such a good attitude and they play us in goodwill. A few of the comments that came out on social media afterwards, I wasn't so keen on, though.
Okay.
They said that the scoreline flattered the Army when I really think we deserved every point we scored when we played against the RAF.
Yeah, I think, up here in the commentary box, we had, like I said, Matt Bayliss and Damien Clayton. I think they were very complimentary of the RAF side. And probably similarly the first week as well, but at no point did they not think that the Army deserved and fought hard for that win.
Let's have a look, see what they've got here in attack. I think I'd love to watch the Army games from up here. I think at the moment I'm seeing very flat in attack. It's not much shape. I think
you're not allowed to retire, Emily. You're not allowed to retire.
I don't plan on either.
Yeah, I think one of the comments, it was someone, whether it was second-hand comments, someone said, "Oh no," Emily was asked whether she'd, when she'd hang up the boots, and you said never. You're just going to keep on going.
Yeah, I think I'll just keep playing rugby and gradually get lower and lower levels. Thinking of making the Masters women's team a thing.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'll be eligible to play for that in a year and a half's time.
Coaching?
Yeah, I had a really good coaching experience with Bristol Golden Ferns, and I absolutely loved it. It's something that I would like to do, but I still haven't given up on playing yet, and I want to commit fully to it, so it's something I'll do in the future.
Neither should you. I think, not just for Army Rugby League, but for Services Rugby League as well. You are a stalwart in all senses, with the Royal Navy very, very, probably with their second best opportunity now, well deep into RAF territory, with almost a full set to go. So
they really need to be putting something on here, because we're just having one-up carries.
They did. They were lucky there. Ball was missed, pass was missed, but the RAF have it back. But actually, they've been penalised. So the Royal Navy then with a fresh set, and they're only 5 metres out from that try line.
Yeah, I really want to see something more from them this time.
So we know they've got the strength in the middle. It's whether they have got the dexterity out on the wings.
So at the minute, they're putting themselves under a lot of pressure to get any passes away, because they're all stood so flat.
That could have been, I think, if they'd got the ball away, then that was a certain try. But yeah, they seem to be too concentrated on taking the ball into contact rather than
It's the white
passing
line
off.
fever.
Yeah, look at all the space they've got here. But you're right, they are very flat, and the Royal Air Force are right on them, looking to deny them here, so close to that try line.
So let's see if we can get these passes away.
Messy, but still Royal Navy ball.
Oh,
And
one
they
more
have got-
pass. Go on.
Go on. Yeah,
Yes.
score then for the Royal Navy. And that was well fought in the end. It's what we talked about.
You'd think
No.
they'd know what we were going on about.
I think the referee's discussing. No, it's been awarded.
No, I don't think it
I
has.
don't think it has. I'm afraid I don't know the reason. But that try has not been. Or was it a forward pass? Was that last pass a bit forward? Okay.
It was very messy, and that's why I think the girls do need to take that step back and give themselves more time and space to make decisions and make these passes.
So John Knighton, who is manning our second camera today, has just said that he viewed that as a forward pass on the right wing then. So the Royal Navy doing all the hard work, and then just letting themselves down with that final pass. The score remains 6-0 to the RAF women, and they are back in possession. And will probably be buoyed by that, because they'll consider, if they get scored against, they'll be, looking for a clean sheet, but would have let themselves down there slightly.
Shame for Jodie there to miss out on a try. I know she's been training with Leeds Rhinos last season, so she did really well at UCAF as well. She's a right speed demon.
Jodie Mills, that is. Yeah, unfortunately, we talk about fault. It was no one's fault. It was actually a great pass. It just was slightly forward, and but we saw the speed that Jodie's got. All right, scrum time then here. And the Royal Navy will have the put in. Are you familiar with all the referee signals?
I'm not going to sign myself
Captain of
up
British Army.
to a referee course anytime soon, that's for sure. I'm too much of a cheerleader.
Right, the Royal Navy then, with another amazing opportunity. This is where they started off. Olivia Critchley-Peddle going at herself. And she's not quite over the line. Well held there by the Royal Air Force, but Royal Navy,
on the left.
very soon after being denied a try, have touchdown. Well, this is getting confusing. Royal Navy being given several, and now they've been penalised, and possession is back with the Royal Air Force. So Royal Navy not making enough of that advantage they were given.
No, I was wondering as well, I think because of the stadium being reconstructed, I think they've been instructed to take the 10 because we haven't had any kicks from penalties yet, so maybe that's something that's been enforced.
Welcome to everyone watching us on Forces News Facebook and Forces News YouTube. Please do let us know where you're watching from, who you're watching. I know we had some great feedback last week from families of youth forces ladies watching from all around the world and all around the country. And it's great that we can bring live games to your friends and family wherever they are in the world. You know, it would be better, of course, if everyone could make it to Wakefield over a weekend, but that's not always possible, as Chelsea Greasley really puts on the wheels here. And she's made some meters there for the RAF.
A lovely pass as well.
And that's out to Robin Baker, and she will make it over for a second score for the Royal Air Force women. And that will bring the points to 10-0. And Royal Air Force there taking up pretty much the whole, they're doing some dancing. Taking up pretty much the whole of the pitch there. Brilliant, brilliant run from Chelsea Greasley. Someone put some fire in her belly.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show that they've really exploited the Navy out wide there. Got the ball all the way across the pitch, and lovely try.
And crucially, that last pass wasn't forward, it was flatter. And, you know, they're sort of, it just looked a lot smoother. But that was largely made by a beautiful run by Chelsea Greasley, evading at least 4 defenders on her way down the middle of the pitch. But the RAF, the news here is now lead 10 points to nothing at Wakefield Trinity. There are 2 tries to the good, and we'll see whether they can add another 2. A very good kick for the to convert the first try.
Is it kicking?
It is. And it, that drifted left, but they're still in the lead, the Royal Air Force women here at Wakefield Trinity. And that was a pretty tricky kick there, Emily, from out wide.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not a kicker. That kick was taken by Katie Seagrave, and
There
she's
we
a
go.
firefighter. And this is her first inter-services because she's been away on deployments previously, but she's got a rugby union background as well.
Well done, Katie Seagraver, keeping us safe out there. Royal Air Force women then are 10-0 up here at Wakefield Trinity. Just a couple of messages on Facebook. Ash Coates, familiar name if you're involved in Royal Navy Rugby Union, watching from St Helens. Apologies, this may not be the Ash Coates that I think it is, because he says ex-RAF, get in ladies. So there are more than one Ash Coates in this world. Well, there you go. The one I know is ex-Royal Navy. Ian Clark, well done RAF women, from an old RAF vet in Blackburn. Brilliant. Local viewers as well. Now, Emily, you based in Catterick?
Yeah, I'm based in Catterick, yeah.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, I really like it up there. Very far from home. I'm a proper Southern bird from Exeter, so it's probably as far away as I can get, but really enjoying it.
I did the classic then and assumed, because you were into rugby league, you must be from the northern parts, but you're from Exeter.
Yeah, I'd actually never played rugby league before I joined the army. I didn't even know it existed.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, when I joined the army, they asked me if I'd like to go play rugby league, and I just presumed it was rugby union in a different league of teams. And here I am, 8 years later, and a captain of the army team. Loving life.
Loving life. And that is the strength of Lucia Filisau. Prop for the Royal Air Force, and she's certainly known to carry the ball. So the Royal Air Force will be on a high here after scoring 2 tries. They're well up here in the first half, 10 points to nothing.
Oh, brilliant running from Lynn.
They've opened up a bit, haven't they, the Royal Air Force? Does that come with confidence when you sort of have got a 10-0 scoreline?
As soon as you got a little buffer of points, you feel more able to throw the ball around. So, and we've definitely seen that. We've even got the props in the middle, getting the hands on balls and getting the ball out wide. So everyone's feeling very confident on the RAF team by the sounds of it.
And that was a lovely 1-2 with Alice Fisher and Katie Seagrave, the aforementioned. really sort of showing off their skills here, and they've been awarded with, well, the Royal Navy have been penalised again, and they don't want to be giving the Royal Air Force women this territory because they are using and capitalising on it every time.
Lovely drive there. She has to go the blind side, but Chelsea's made some brilliant meters there.
Just give Chelsea the ball, that's what they'll be saying. Lots of space out here, but absolutely brilliant feed through to Alice Fisher there, and Fisher knew exactly what to do, saw the try line, went for it, and
Yeah, that was a lovely try. I think the idea was to go out wide, and then the half realised that actually, no, this is a much simpler, easier option. Alice, get over the line.
Well, when you've got Alice Fisher pummeling through the middle, you don't want to not... Do you know what? That hasn't been awarded either.
Oh, is it not?
That is not a try. Gosh, I do
might
sometimes
have just
wish...
been forward there.
Yes, it might just have been. It was a very... I'm just watching on the replay, but... yeah, that looked like a little forward pass, unfortunately, there from the RAF. So both sides falling victim then to that last pass excitement. And what did you call it? White line fever, Emily?
Yeah, white line fever. It's like the ring of Lord of the Rings. It draws you in. Makes you do crazy things.
So no score then from the Royal Air Force and Royal Navy here, back in control. Well, not in control, but at least in possession. So it remains 10-0. And we're just coming up to half an hour here on Forces News Facebook and YouTube, and we're live on BFBS TV too. Claire Brooker Brown has said shout out to Lincoln Ladies RFC, who are there supporting the RAF today. So there we go. So got some the crowds in for the RAF. She also says good luck to Lynn Brooker Brown from Lily. So I just love the fact that families are on here, and that was also sent with a love heart. So
yeah, that's Lynn's wife and their daughter.
Well, there we go.
And I've actually played rugby with Lynn's wife as well, rugby union for the GB Police. So they're both a big rugby family.
Oh, I love that. So yeah, good to see so many of you joining us. And the RAF certainly are on top here, and we thought they'd scored another try, but forward pass has been a bit of a bugbear for both sides here at Wakefield Trinity, as the RAF try and break down the Royal Navy defence here.
Carry from Lynn.
There we go, Lynn Brooker Brown doing it for the other half and your daughter. Brilliant.
I think so far on the Navy side we've only seen Olivia kick the ball on fifth and last. So it'd be nice to see if somebody else has got a kick with more distance, maybe a different type of kick in there for them.
Does it normally fall to the scrum half?
Ours is usually our halves or a fullback, so it's whoever's got the skill really.
Grace Houghton Burnett again,
Oh,
brilliant.
great drive. Oh, just lost the ball forward in contact there.
I mean, it's not really a high tackle on Grace, is it? Because she looks to be a bit...
Oh,
yeah,
she looks really shaken there. Maybe
yeah,
she should get
I think
a check.
she needs to sit down. That might have been a knock to the head there. So just as Grace Houghton Burnett gets checked over. Do you want to tell us about Olivia, as we mentioned her? Let's find some notes. I can't tell you how extensive these notes are.
Yeah. Olivia is an air engineer officer, and she likes spending all her free time in the mountains and climbing.
I think I'd get on with Olivia.
Yeah, she's a very outdoorsy kind of girl, but she's a cat woman, so I don't know if...
She's actually a cat woman?
Well, she's not Catwoman, but she likes cats.
Oh, she's
she could be Catwoman. I don't know in her spare time what she does.
Okay, she likes cats. Well, I'm not so... Yeah, I don't think we would get on. I like dogs.
Oh, I see. And then for rugby union, actually, she's got a really good accolade on here. She was the first female Navy player to score at Twickenham.
Well done, Olivia. Yeah, brilliant to see the girls represent at HQ, as some of us call it, in rugby union world. But yeah, she's a similar character in league as she is in union. Ever present, ever involved.
Yeah, I missed her in our game against the Navy. I'm not sure where she was.
Yeah. Royal Navy then back with a fresh set. A reminder that they did nearly score, but for a forward pass. We got very excited up here in the commentary box.
Oh, and the number 10 who just took the ball in then, Andrea. This is actually her first rugby league game.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's bold.
Kudos for her.
Absolutely. I mean, I like to think I'd know what I was doing, but I know that carrying it through on the pitch is a whole different kettle of fish. The Royal Navy then, with some of the RAF players slightly out of position there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think they're having a bit of a conflict.
I need to get back.
Oh,
Lovely run.
offloads.
Absolutely brilliant run by the Royal Navy. They've made huge distance there, putting themselves back in a similar position they've been in before. They just want to keep the ball tight. Well, they'll love that. That was great from the Royal Navy. But ball and possession handed back to the Royal Air Force. And actually, Andrea Craddock there in her first game, making quite a good carry there for the Royal Navy. And it's 10-0 as we are just beyond the half-hour mark here at Wakefield Trinity. Do keep your messages coming in.
Oh, just straight in at that gate there. Lovely run.
The Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy then without a win or any points, in fact, in this tournament so far. So the Royal Air Force in particular at the moment will be super pleased that they've been able to get some points on the board. And let's hope that the Royal Navy can do the same. Lovely interchanges there.
Yeah.
Do you think, because they're up in this game, the Royal Air Force women, like you said, that we talked about the confidence it gives them, sort of looks like very training pitch moves, but that are coming off. So suddenly they look really slick.
It just gives you the confidence to be more wide and expansive. And I know with my girls, oh, this looks a lovely break here. If we're under the pump and we're losing or nobody scored yet, it's in the arm wrestle, I always tend to keep the ball really safe. Safe and boring. So who's getting that? Dive on it.
Oh, yeah. Dive on it. Whoever, someone.
Yes, somebody.
Royal Navy getting themselves out of jail there. That came from a missed communication in the Royal Air Force side where the ball was thrown backwards and no one caught it. Chelsea Greasley sort of saved them and quickly kicked it out of hand, but it didn't go to touch. And it therefore was an opportunity for the RAF, but also the Royal Navy. And that it's not a good... yeah.
Well done.
Not a very good start to a set from the Royal Navy, but they've still got possession.
Oh, no.
That was a knock-on, yeah. That is going to be costly, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think the Navy are really starting to feel the pressure there now. Yeah, and as I was saying, when you're winning, you can be so wide and expansive. You can try different things. You can have a risky offload here and there, and it affects your play, and it's like positive reinforcement every time. Whereas when you haven't got that luxury, and you're in the Navy's position right now, all you can do is keep the ball safe and try and work through the sets.
And conversely, they're not keeping it safe. They're making small errors, which is due to pressure, but also, like you say, do the basics well, and the rest will follow. So the Royal Navy feeling it a little under the cosh here ahead of the interval. We've got about 5 minutes remaining on the clock, although I will say there is no clock here or a scoreboard, so if I get it wrong I do apologise, but I do know that it's 10-0 to the Royal Air Force, 2 tries to the good and a conversion, and they will be up at half time. Good stretch from the Royal Air Force.
Yeah.
Oh, she liked that one.
Oh, that wasn't very sportswomanly afterwards, but great try there.
What a great try there. That was more like when American footballers get a touchdown, that's what that looked like. But, she'd already scored the try. But yeah, RAF very pleased with themselves. I think they were probably a bit peeved at themselves for the last try, which wasn't a try. And there we have it.
And that try came from Corporal Hannah South. She's a RAF medic. She started rugby only in 2022, and it's her first in the services.
Oh, it's a great stretch. Yeah, well done, Hannah. Absolutely brilliant. And
says there she's recently had an injury as well, so she's done well to come back from that so quickly.
Well, maybe the celebration was because she's been frustrated by injury.
Maybe.
I don't think she was aiming at anyone. I think she was aiming at the ground.
I think she accidentally hit someone.
The kicking's been great from the tee from the RAF, although, another one missed, but and that was, no. And half-time has been called, so 14-0 then to the RAF women. We're slightly behind on the clock here on Forces News, Facebook and YouTube, but I can tell you that it is half-time. For the RAF women are 14 points to the good. The Royal Navy yet to score. They've been close and they've been given opportunities and have just failed to capitalise on that so far. Emily, just very quickly, your sort of, in a nutshell, your take on that first half of Royal Air Force against Royal Navy women.
Yeah, I think the Royal Navy have hindered themselves really by not giving themselves enough depth in attack. I think the defensive effort from both teams has been absolutely brilliant, and the RAF have just had that, like I said, opportunity to go wider, be more expansive, but because they're up on the points.
Well, thanks to Emily. She'll be back here. Well, I hope she'll stick with us for the second half. I'm enjoying this very much. And just while we get ourselves a bit of a break, a reminder, it is 14-0 to the RAF women here at half-time at Wakefield Trinity in the third and final round of Inter-Services Rugby. But let's go elsewhere around the Forces world and have a look at the In Case You Missed It Sports Roundup with Richard Johnson.
Hi, I'm Richard Johnson and this is In Case You Missed It. Sharing the spoils, the Army women and RAF men took the honours at this year's Inter-Services Golf Championships. The Royal Navy made history in April by winning both men's and women's titles together in the delayed 2022 event, but sat out the final day this time following defeats to both the RAF and Army. For the first time since 2012, the tournament was staged at Woodhall Spa, the home of English golf. Meeting a footballing icon. The Royal Navy women's side with former England Lioness Ellen White after being crowned champions at the first ever CSSC Women's Football Festival. 18 teams took part in the Civil Service Sports Council competition at the FA's training ground, St George's Park. After winning the final 4-0, the Navy players got to meet the England women's all-time goal scorer and talk tactics and the opportunities created by Royal Navy football. Next, Army Bowl. The British Army American football team warmed up for the first ever Inter-Services with a tough match against Bristol Apache. They had been due to kick off against the Royal Navy, but a change of schedule meant they played Bristol instead. The Royal Navy and RAF Mustangs will now play the first ever Inter-Services game on October the 13th. And the best of both worlds. Army Rugby Union player Private India King is signing with Premiership side Harlequins as a dual-registered player. Private King was a member of the Army squad who won the Inter-Services Championships this year, so she scored a try against the Royal Air Force. Dual registration means she'll be able to play and train with both Harlequins and the Army.
India King with the try.
Yeah, and I think, would you agree that the Army play a very expansive game, and this could be the first score here, and they've got the runners, and that's Navaka going in for the first try there.
She took that well, but again, going back to my previous point, it's a possession game, and we turn possession over, give the Army another set of 6, and there's a consequence.
Back in possession.
Oh, what a tackle.
Wow.
That's certainly lifted him here now.
Yeah. You can hear the RAF crowd. Also might fire up the Army. And she goes over. That went one way, could have gone either way, but that fired up the Army, I think, and set their runners free, and the Army go eight points ahead here, kicking for the extra 2. And that one's over, so we're 10-0, which, funny enough, was the score from last year. Yep, RAF picked it up.
And that's half time.
Okay, there we go. So
well done, both teams.
10-0 then to the ladies in red, to the Army women, and they lead here at Atto Heath at half time. Up to the speedster here on the right wing.
Great cover tackle from Cheeky Grill.
As if you don't give a forward pass for that.
Has to be a forward pass.
Yeah, looking on the replay, that does look forward.
It's not even remotely backwards.
No, she's run in for the try.
I can't quite believe that, to be honest.
Ella Donnelly has run in for an Army try from what we thought was a pretty obvious forward pass. We can look at the replay in a second, because I am neutral and wearing blue, but I've got a red t-shirt on underneath. Yeah, so try given.
And he's wiped the tackle count clean as well, so it's another set of 6 for the Army. They're certainly not shy in throwing the ball about in good ball, so it's good on them.
She's over there again now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're not the greatest of passes, but they are definitely moving, shifting that ball around.
Crashed straight through and then finally brought down about 5 before the post.
Oh yeah, she carried 3 defenders, I think. Yeah, 5 by the end of
Charlotte
it.
Hill now over in the corner.
Yeah,
good football, that.
Trying to get a bit free flowing now, aren't they? Is this that good ball area you were talking about, Damo?
I mean, that was good football, wasn't it?
wow. Yeah, at this stage in the game as well, when they could be forgiven for having heads down, and they're still battling.
Yeah, another charm on the sticks there.
I think that one belonged to
commentating
Emily
blind.
White.
Yeah, there's Emily. Captain's match. She battled through 4 defence there. Again, it's decision on the pitch was.
Kick's been converted as well.
Yeah, so 34-0 to the Army. Finally, they do. She's made some meters there.
He's given a penalty to win the tackle, strip ball. And he's blown up.
Oh, okay, so not on our clock, but the timings are that the Army women here have won 34-0. Maybe our clocks were slightly skewed, but I thought we had more minutes remaining. But massive celebrations from the ladies in red, because that is another inter-services win for them. They remain undefeated in this tournament.
It's a great pleasure to award the trophy to the Army.
And welcome back to Wakefield Trinity Stadium in Bellevue, Wakefield. A lovely northern afternoon here. And it's the 3rd and final weekend of Inter-Services Rugby League action. The Royal Air Force women and the Royal Navy women yet to win a game, but the Royal Air Force here on the charge with a 14-0 margin at half-time. As we look to the Royal Navy's Olivia Critchley-Peddle to kick off for the Royal Navy and start this second half. I'm joined by the British Army women's captain, for Rugby League, Emily White, and she's got a library of information on these girls, so I look forward to hearing some more information being shared this second half. Critchley Peddle then with probably not as deep as she was hoping into Royal Air Force, and they are on the up, the girls in light blue, with quite a, I think, would they have expected a 14-0 at half time, do you think, Emily?
No, I don't think so. I think both teams have gone into this quite apprehensive, seeing how close the score was for both the games against us. I think they're probably expecting it to be a lot closer. I want to say about Jess, she brought the tee on for the Navy. They'll be really missing her. She's out with an ACL injury at the moment, but you always know someone's a good player when you're not too keen on playing against them, and she's really good ball carrier. So yeah, they'll be missing her this season.
Yeah, I mean, injury is part of the game, isn't it? The Royal Air Force coach who lost 4 of his players last week against the British Army ladies, so only has 2 interchanges for this match. He said, well, that's just the game. Dan Tonkin, and yeah, I'm inclined to agree with him, but more frustrating for those who have to sit on the sidelines, isn't it? Because everyone would rather be playing.
Oh yeah, my heart goes out to those that are injured. It's probably one of the most difficult times of your life as a sports person, and not being able to play the sport you love, not being around your team, and not having those physical capabilities. So you've got to really look after yourselves and get the support from your mates, and all well kept hold
yeah,
there.
well kept. Critchley Peddle there again.
Yeah, and all reach out and look after each other. It's so important.
And you know, my fault, I did not mention the officials we have here for this game. All Army, we've got Dennis Newell in the middle, and his touch judges are Colin Lunn and Pete Smith, and I believe that they're involved in all 3 matches this afternoon. We've had the development game earlier, which saw the RAF development with 10 points and Royal Navy development with 30, so the Royal Navy youngsters, they claim that prize for the senior service, and it's the Royal Navy women here in possession at Wakefield Trinity, and taken back there by and Caitlin Render with a good carry.
Yeah, they've had some good offloads that have caused the RAF a bit of a nuisance, so hopefully they can keep those coming.
Desperate. I don't. Olivia wasn't even holding the ball at one point. Yeah, both struggling to get up there. But obviously they're good friends from UCAF, I'm sure.
Yeah, they've been co-captains last season because I was out injured, so they'll be having a bit of banter there for sure.
The RAF then back with the ball. Katie Seagrave again. Yeah, brilliant. Just keeping those legs pumping, and that seems to get them through.
What have they got set here? I'd love to see Sia with her hands on the ball now.
No one's bringing her down, are they? Lenny Mahone there. I hope I'm saying that right, Lenny. Great with the little 1-2s, I think, in the middle.
Yeah, I think at the minute they've put on a few switches there, but it seems to be going right back into the
space here.
traffic.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but 2 spare players over there on the left, and Grace Houghton Burnett couldn't quite get the pass off. And that's credit to the Royal Navy for tackling Grace in forcing a bad pass there. So the Royal Navy back with the ball, fresh set. I think it's going to be scrum, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things you learn, like sometimes with defensive pressure, it's not about making the tackle, it's about get up in people's faces and force them to make errors, and that's exactly what they've done there. Back in at traffic.
I know you mentioned it in the first half, but for anyone watching this and who knows rugby league better than me, you will have noticed that penalty kicks haven't been given, and instead 10 metres has been given to the opposition, and we've been informed that that was to do with the construction around this ground. Quite a lot of builders in today, and Emily did give you that information in the first half. I clearly wasn't listening, so yeah, it was. I hadn't seen that before, the sort of being penalised for not going 10 metres. So I assume it'll be the same for all games, that they won't be able to do any penalty kicks. But I suppose the argument for that sort of consideration is that it's leading to a more running game, which we all love to see, don't we?
Yeah, I think we spent quite a lot of some past games looking for balls to be kicked back onto the pitch.
Well, there we go. Yeah, I think if you kicked into the construction work here at Wakefield, you're not getting your ball back. So nearly a costly mistake by the Royal Air Force there.
Good kick chase from the Navy there.
So a couple of messages on Facebook here. Phil Kavanagh says, go on the RAF. I stopped coaching this team roughly 10 years ago, and there's 3 women still playing: Rachel Robertson, Alice Fisher and Lynn Brooker-Brown. Wow. Phil Kavanagh, he's coached the RAF women's team, and he said that there's still 3 players playing: Rachel Robertson, Alice Fisher and Lynn Brooker-Brown.
Oh wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Kaz Knott says, fantastic effort, RAF. Kirsty Bland, nice work, ladies. And Patricia Furness has sent some emojis, which I can't really vocalise, if I'm honest. But thank you for getting in touch, Patricia. The Royal Navy then with a put in at the scrum.
Seems a little bit unorganised at the back of that scrum for the Navy for me. Nobody knows who's taking the carry.
Royal Navy then still in possession. Andrea Craddock there.
Nominating herself.
Great defence from Royal Air Force, not giving the Royal Navy an inch here at Wakefield on this beautiful pitch, really, has to be said.
Go there, lovely pick and go.
Absolutely stunning. Yeah. Oh, brilliant score there. Well done to the Royal Navy. They are over, and a really well-deserved try. And that was something from nothing, really, Emily.
Yeah, for sure. She just picked up at 9 and went and broke the line. She's done really well there.
So the Royal Navy finally with some points on the board. They are 14-4. And right under the post as well, so should be quite an easy one for, I think, is Critchley Peddle coming up to take it? Oh no, she's just tying a shoelace, my apologies. So well done to the Royal Navy. This is what we want to see, Emily. We don't want to see another donut. We want to see some points scored by both sides.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I really want this game to give both these teams a confidence boost and keep them both interested at competing at this level, and hopefully inspire other women in their service to come forward and play rugby. Like I said, the more that come, the more pickings we've got for UCAF, so I'll be happy either way.
Well done, Royal Navy. Let's see if they can slot it over. Unfortunately, can't see these numbers very well. Ooh. That cracked over the goal, but a brilliant, if not orthodox kick there from the Royal Navy to bring them 6 points up. We are 14-6 here. Royal Air Force in front with 3 tries in the first half, but the Royal Navy have hit back in the second 40 here, and they are 14-6.
I think the kicker was number 15, Lauren Watson. We can't really see from here.
Okay. Yeah, there will have been some changes, I'm sure, at half.
Yeah.
Yes, that's been confirmed by our office at home by Director Dom. Was number 15. So.
Oh, cool. This is only her second season playing rugby league, and she plays in goal for the Navy football team as well.
Well, we see a lot of that, don't we? In military sport generally, there's not just cross codes, but cross sports.
Yeah, and apparently she's the first female to serve on the Type 26 ships. Not that means much to me in the Army.
I think it's a pretty big deal. There you go.
There we go.
The Royal Navy then, G'd by their first score of the game, 14-6 here. Royal Air Force in front, but they would have been pinned back by the senior service there. Oh, lovely run here. And the Royal Navy need to capitalise. Heads up there. I think the try scorer Was that Caitlin Render?
Was it? Yeah, I think it was the hooker.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, apparently she plays rugby sevens as well, so she's another dual coder.
Well, I tell you what, that was quite a sevens try.
Yeah, and she's got
speed.
A brother, and he serves in the RAF. So I imagine there's some controversy in the family.
They're not speaking this weekend. They're not speaking. Oh, do you know what? The Royal Navy, this is another side that have come out for this second 40.
Yeah.
Keeping it tight, keeping it basic, doing that right. Craddock then with a huge carry. She's got about 5 defenders on her.
She keeps putting her hand up and offering herself up for drives.
Yeah. Royal Navy then just trying to find that gap in the Royal Air Force defence. There's a lot of shouting out there on the pitch. That's good to hear. A lot of communication. You've got the numbers. You've got the numbers, and the Royal Navy over again for their second try. The senior service absolutely bossing it here in the second half at Wakefield Trinity.
That was brilliant. That there, I think everything that we spoke about in the first half, that the Navy weren't doing well. They weren't getting the ball out wide. They've just done there and scored. So well
Jodie
done.
Mills, a score for Jodie Mills, their vice captain. Royal Navy. That was quite some. Well, this is a comeback and a half from the Royal Navy. They're now 14 points to 10. Let's see what they can do with this kick, but they are within a score of the Royal Air Force.
A game of 2 halves already.
Oh, she's in there. She said it. Game of 2 halves. Well, what did the Air Force do here, Emily? It's a bit like they've been caught in the headlights.
Yeah, I think when this happens to my team, we come out and then we play some really simple rugby. Just I really make the Navy defend for the next few sets, carry it hard up the middle, wear them out, and then look to go wide later on. They've just got to get through a few sets now, keeping it safe and being mindful of where they are on the pitch.
Well, that has not made the distance, but 14-10 it remains to the Royal Air Force, but the Royal Navy are on having a little bit of a purple patch here. Interesting, you talked about what the RAF should do, which is maybe play the basics well, simple rugby, but that's what the Navy have done, and it's got them scores. It's almost like they had a word with them at half-time.
It's like they swap game plans at half-time.
Well, let's not write off either side at this point. But certainly makes it more exciting when the score is not to 0, but to 10. 14-10. And we are coming up to the end of the first quarter here. Oh no, we're well over the first quarter actually of this second half. Exciting stuff here at Wakefield Trinity. And the RAF, well, they just need to do what they were doing in the first half. Somehow find that confidence again. That's a lovely kick-off. They've done that very well, and the Navy have let it bounce several times, which won't work in their favour.
RAF need to work hard here. Oh, bit of a pushback there.
So Sophie Ellis says, me and Annie Forbes are watching from Honington. Come on, the RAF. Are those names familiar to you?
I think if it's the Annie I know, I think I've played rugby with her. Rugby union there.
Okay. Patricia Furness is back. She says Navy on fire this half. You're absolutely right, Patricia. They absolutely are.
Well done.
Chris Peach says, come on, Jess and the RAF. And Paul McLaughlin says, great try, Navy. Sean McLaughlin driving Navy on. Go, girl, from Dad. There you go. Families afar are watching. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I've got a nice bit about Sean. She's playing loose forward today. She's just finished a draft on HMS Prince of Wales. She also plays both codes and is capped for the Navy and UCAF in both Union and League. She's playing locally for Havant, and she's part of the UCAF Union squad that went to the Defence Forces World Cup in New Zealand last year.
Well, Sean, you've got one proud dad watching you, and I'm sure plenty of other Royal Navy colleagues and military colleagues around the world. It's a shame that that new stand isn't finished, because I can just imagine that being filled with the crowds. They're beneath us here, the commentary gallery, so I'm not really getting the full effect of the crowds, but it is a good turnout. I'm sure the weather helps. And RAF put in to the scrum here.
Lovely carry here. She's going to go all the way.
Emma Swinton there for, sorry, not Emma Swinton, Katie Seagrave again for the Royal Air Force to Chelsea Greasley, and she's been brilliant. Oh, wonderful run, absolutely brilliant run there. That's Hannah South again. Second try then for Hannah South, and the Royal Air Force have hit back. They've done exactly what we needed them to do, well, what they needed to do, because we're not biased in this commentary box. But yeah, they've responded well to the Royal Navy's 2 tries and come back with one of their own. So that is 18-10 as it stands. The Royal Air Force with another try from Hannah South, and their 4th try overall.
Yeah, that all come from that lovely run down the middle, really strong ball carrying.
And that was Katie Seagrave, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Lynn Brooker-Brown up for the kick, and it's not quite on the touchline. It's sort of halfway between there and middle of the post, so she'll be pretty confident, I'm sure, for this one. Lynn Brooker-Brown. I think it's Lynn Brooker-Brown, my apologies. With the kick here, we've got a great view from our commentary gantry. Let's see if she's got the distance. Nope, that is, I think I jinxed her there. Not got the distance, and also slightly too left of the post, but that is an 18. They've established another lead, the RAF, 18 points to 10 here at Wakefield Trinity, and Brooker-Brown then just hoiking it slightly to the left. But a try is what they wanted, and a try is what they got. Hannah South then with 2.
Hopefully she'll be looking to get a hat-trick in this game now.
Well, if she could hear you, perhaps that would fire her up as well, Emily.
Oh, it's always in the back of my mind. Once you've scored 2, you've got to make
absolutely.
it 3.
Absolutely. Well, it's too close to call now. The RAF with a 14-0 lead at half-time. The Royal Navy have come out fighting and reduced that to 14-10, but the Royal Air Force have hit back. So we could be in for an exciting finish here. This is a reminder, of course, this is the 3rd round of the Inter-Services Rugby League, and as far as Inter-Services titles go, that is gone for both of these girls. That was awarded to the British Army last week at St Helens, but playing for Pride. That was unfortunate from Jessica
Brilliant.
Wood.
Navy will get the ball back now.
Good pressure from good pressure from the Royal Navy.
I do want to say, I'm just reading my notes, and one of them was quite sad, actually. So number 6 for the Navy, Swinners. I've played rugby with her on several occasions. This is actually going to be her last inter-services for the Navy. So I'm guessing that she's moving on and leaving service, so that's a shame.
She may still play rugby league, I hope.
I hope so, Hopefully she's hooked now.
So that's Emma Swinton playing a standoff for Royal Navy, known as Swinners. So the Royal Navy then with a brand new set. I'm being dissed by my own director, Emily. Wow. Brilliant defence there from the Royal Air Force. Director Dom just said, I hope she's not quitting because of the commentary. I mean, he's including you in that.
Absolute shade. Don't throw that this way.
I'm pretty sure when they listen, and Emily might be able to confirm this, when they listen back to these games, I'm pretty sure they turn the commentary off. because they just want to see what's happening.
We've got quite a few bodies down on the floor at the minute, looking really tired from the RAF side. Maybe that's to do with the fact they've only got 2 substitutes at the moment, so they're really starting to feel the wear of the game.
Yeah, we are 20 minutes into this, so halfway through the second half, and this is, when the tiredness really kicks in, isn't it? 60-minute mark entirety, and the RAF, as I've mentioned a couple of times, only have 2 subs. So they don't have a lot of options in terms of people to bring on, and so there'll be a lot of tired legs, tired bodies out there, and perhaps that will be the decider of the game, Emily, because at this point, pride or not, it's all about if you can last a full 80.
And I think with that disadvantage that the RAF have got, because they've only got the 2 subs and like I said, their bodies look tired, that could be the difference and let the Navy come through to score a few more points. But I'm not sure that the Navy's got enough in attack to take the win just yet. They need to show a bit more.
There is no silver medal or, bronze in this competition. The British Army ladies, obviously, I think that's time back on, so no serious injuries, thankfully. But I mean, in this, I think the ladies here will just be viewing this as a game on its own. Forget what's already happened. Almost like their own little inter-services within the inter-services. So, another 10 metres forward for Royal Navy, and this is another brilliant opportunity for the senior service. Caitlin Render.
Yeah, I'm just looking down on the touchline, and we've got the number 5 from the Navy, and that's Ellis Thorpe, is it?
Ellis Thorpe.
And apparently she's the first qualified submariner to play at inter-services from the Navy.
There's a lot of firsts in this team. Bit of messy play, unfortunately, from the senior service, and they really passed up on a brilliant scoring opportunity there. Unfortunately, a handling error has handed possession back to the Royal Air Force, and they'll be kicking themselves for that. So it goes to scrum.
Yeah, and that will give the RAF a nice break now, and that's something that the Army try not to do. We try to keep the ball on the pitch, try tire the other team out. We pack down for the scrum as soon as possible to try and force the other team's hand to tire them out. So, yeah, the RAF will have a little rest.
Greasley again, keeping that ball tight to her chest. And the Navy are penalised. I've just had Lernie Marn's dad get in touch on YouTube to say it's pronounced Lernie Marn. So I really hope I'm watching that. Her dad is watching in Dubai, ex-Royal Navy.
Oh, wow. And she is a dog handler.
Oh, I want that job.
Oh. And this is her first inter-services rugby league and her first ever season of rugby league. So well done to her.
Yeah, well done, Lernie.
She started playing for 2 teams in Cheltenham, both Union and League. So she's going to be fit by the end of all of this.
She's going to be knackered.
Yeah.
Well, your dad's watching from Dubai, Lernie, and you're in a great position at the minute.
And the Navy have left those 2 high and dry there. Maybe need one more in the tackle. Lynn just knocking the ball on there.
I mean, that could be fatigue, but we've seen it happen a lot of, from early on in the game. So
yeah, to be fair, I don't think the pass was meant for her. She was just trying to clear it up. Rachel playing hooker, she's an air traffic controller, and she's also a dual coder. And like we said earlier on, she's probably the longest standing member of rugby league in the women's side for the Forces teams.
I did a piece on Rachel a few years ago because she was going into the officials. I think she was sort of said she was coming to the end of her playing career. That doesn't seem to have come true. Yeah, and she wanted to go into officials and sort of did a refereeing course. So I think she's fully qualified.
Yeah,
isn't
she actually, when we had the makeshift fixture where the Navy pulled out and we played against Stanningley, she was the lineswoman for our game. She did really well.
So I went to visit her at her job, got to spend some time in the air traffic control tower, which is possibly quite dangerous, as anyone knows me around computers, but wasn't allowed to touch anything.
No, she's brilliant, and should not stop playing.
And of course, you know, since then, she's had a baby too, so there are many mums out there playing, and kudos to them. Little baby Scott, I believe.
I think she's been playing for Hull KR as well.
Yeah, it's very important, isn't it, for both codes, that the women and the men go and play some civilian rugby. Lovely carry there by Olivia Critchley-Peddle.
Oh,
this is the Royal Navy at their best. Can she power through? She's only a metre short, but that was a lovely carry. The Royal Navy then with another superb opportunity. Lost again a tackle. Fantastic tackle there. That was Greasley. Yeah, Greasley again. She's been phenomenal. They need to get the ball wide here.
Navy spread out.
So ball lost in the tackle, but went backwards. So the Royal Navy had possession, but it's now back to the Royal Air Force. But they are deep in Navy territory, spotting a gap there. Message from, well, it actually says Birmingham Wheelchair Basketballs. Says, so proud of Andrea Craddock making a debut for the Royal Navy Rugby League. Love mum and dad. A lot of proud parents that we've brought this live to, and we're delighted. Oh, another fumble there. And the Royal Navy again handed a golden opportunity deep into the RAF half.
The errors are coming thick and fast now. I think both teams are tired, and you can see that's affecting their ball handling and their decision making.
Uncharacteristic there from Hannah South. Score of 2 tries with some bright blue boots on. Very Royal Air Force boots. But yeah, knock on.
I think having another little water break there. I think we're quite sheltered from the sun. It must be getting quite warm out there. Yeah,
we're deciding whether to put another layer on here in the shade of the commentary gantry, and it's still bright sunshine. And I should think by the time we get to the men's match later, which is kick-off at 6:30 this evening, we'll be live from 6:15. I imagine by then it'll be half and half. We'll have half pitch and shade, half pitch and sun. But then it will be getting darker. I've just remembered it's nearly October.
Going back to my notes, I want to speak a bit about Alice, obviously being the captain of the RAF today. She's also the vice captain for Bradford Bulls, the team she's playing for in the Super Leagues. And she's doing really well there. I think the last time I saw some stats, she was one of the top tacklers in the Women's Super League. So kudos to her for that. She's doing really well there.
Obviously, one of your teammates, Carrie Roberts, went very far in Super League, but also playing for England as well, representing at last year's Rugby League World Cup. How is that treated within the different services when you've got women? Are they given elite athlete status to go and play Super League?
So Carrie was during the World Cup, but as soon as the World Cup was over,
she was called back in.
Yeah, she's called back and gone right back to work.
Yeah.
And they had to reapply for it because obviously the World Cup got delayed.
And
she nearly didn't get it. So that was a right kerfuffle. But the Army supported her and she was able to compete. Now she's playing for York, and I think the other day she scored a hat-trick, so she's settled right into that new team straight away.
Another one, I'm sure, who said she was going to retire, but...
Yeah, Carrie also tried a hand at coaching. She'd come and help coach the Army women's team, and it's lovely getting some advice and stuff like that from her. She's such an inspirational player. She's done some defensive sessions for us, and I think that's a really big part of her game. But for York, she seems to not be able to stop scoring tries. So,
yeah, she was known for her try scoring. The Royal Navy are right on the try line here. Really exciting times, but being pushed back by the Royal Air Force. Great carry there.
I said here they just need that little bit more depth.
Royal Air Force celebrating the changeover,
Chat with
turnover.
Alice, I think.
So the man in the middle is Dennis Newell, Army Rugby League referee. He's having a word with the two captains, well, Samantha Wayne and her captain, Alice Fisher. Not quite sure what that was about. But Royal Navy with the ball again. RAF were penalised. And this is third time in a row that we've seen in the last sort of 5 minutes, we've seen the Royal Navy with ball in hand only metres from the try line. So far, they have failed to get through that RAF defence. And just an injury being seen to at the minute, but she's up and about. Critchley pedal then.
The RAF were keen to come off the line there, nearly coming early. Look at the space out wide, just need more depth.
4 tacklers on.
This ball needs to come out the back to Swinners and go wide.
Yeah, use your space from the Royal Navy.
Yeah, go on.
They've got
go
that
wide.
space.
Go on, one more. Oh.
Royal Navy then regathering, reforming. They've got space on both sides. And they need quick ball, much quicker ball than that. Let's come out the back and the
I think we need to go back right here.
yeah, they've got more. And they've gone left.
Go on.
Go on, push on through.
Great defence there
Great
from Alice
defence,
wrapping
wow.
that ball.
The RAF have kept the Navy within a 2-metre band there. And they need to use this. That's all they've got. And that's a wonderful kick. And
yes.
someone take it in. Wonderful from the Royal Navy. That is a champagne try.
That was brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. Came off the boot of Olivia Critchley Pedal. That was beautifully timed. Absolutely stunning run by the Royal Navy. Fully deserved, and we have a game here, Emily White. We have a game.
We definitely do.
So that puts the Royal Air Force still ahead at this moment in time, but that was a wonderful take from Jasmine Abel. Jasmine Abel of the Royal Navy.
Oh, I've got some interesting facts about her. So she played for Dorset and Wilts Rugby Union and is part of the Bristol Bears Centre of Excellence. And she also used to be in a screamo band, so some very heavy choices in music.
Screamo band?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old, but is that a new thing? Royal Navy failing to convert that. So it's 18-14 here at Wakefield Trinity. The Royal Air Force in the lead, but the Royal Navy now with 3 tries of their own, and they have really come into their own in this second half. We've got a tight finish here, Emily. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to come away from this wishing that maybe they'd spend more time practicing conversions. I haven't had many successful opportunities there, and that can make all the difference in this game.
I mean, they've not been easy ones. There's obviously the couple in front of the post have been made, but you're right. It takes a lot of dedication to put into practice those conversion kicks from out wide.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not putting my name forward.
You need a back garden to be able to, kick them and have a set of posts. So the Royal Air Force then. Oh, that's going out.
Oh, that hurt the Navy.
Oh, Royal Air Force celebrating everything here when they get the chance. Royal Navy doing so well to get that try, get that third try, and then they go and throw it away at the kick-off. So scrum down then. Do you think that was miscommunication, Emily? I can't really hear from up here, but
I think it's misjudged. by the first person under the ball, really. Maybe it's the sun. There's a bit of shade.
Yeah. Could be. We don't know how bright it is out there. The RAF then. They've got numbers out wide.
Oh, lovely loop
switch.
there. One more.
Yeah. Alice Fisher then needs to pass on that ball. Potentially could have passed it off a little bit earlier, but still in RAF hands.
I think Chelsea's just getting a bit of attention there. I hope she's okay.
Jenny Morgan says, well done, Navy. And Paul McLaughlin, great try that. Matty's coaching now sinking in. Matty Bayliss, of course, Royal Navy's women's head coach. And yeah, he joined us on commentary last week and just looking to inspire his team. And that he has done, because this is a really close match here. 18-14. So, lovely penalty kick there from the Royal Air Force. So they're allowing penalty kicks that end because there's no construction, I'm assuming.
Well, no, if the kicks they're not allowing it. It's the penalties in play where you kick to touch.
Got you.
But yeah, they can have the ones that
Okay, they can have the actual penalties.
Yeah, but that'd be good for the RAF. That'll give them a bit of breathing space now. I can see the Navy are rushing here to get the kick off. They're ready and raring to go.
So 2 more points to the Royal Air Force, and that's valuable now because they have, it would need a converted try for the Royal Navy to equalise. But considering they were 14-0 down.
Oh, brilliant
great take
there
from Royal Navy, yeah.
They've won the ball back again. They're having some great success that side with their kicks, the Navy. Oh, unlucky.
So 20 points to the RAF, 14 to the Royal Navy. And we have about 5 minutes left of this match. So pressure on the Royal Navy to score again. The Royal Air Force doing the sensible thing, kicking for goal so that they could go a converted try ahead. They are 20 points, the Royal Navy are 14. It's been pretty evenly matched, I would say, Emily.
Yeah, I think RAF just keeping it safe this set. With forward drives, working well.
Lynn Booker-Brown has got some wheels on her. Steve H. Lamplugh, ex-RAF, many years ago, Great Sea Rugby League in the Forces. Didn't know this was on until my son called me. Wish I watched it from the beginning. Great coverage, ladies. Well, Steve, you can go back to the beginning. It is there forever. Whether that's
going to get another one
or not. Another Hannah, yeah, Hannah South after her on a hat trick. The RAF then looking to
go on, Lynn,
solidify this lead that they have.
Maybe need to drift now. Oh, lovely strong carry.
Lovely take, and that is going out wide. Burnett to... I think that's going to be called for high tackle.
Yes.
So the Royal Air Force with the ball, I think.
Is that Jessica Wood? Is she okay?
Yeah, Jessica Wood.
Yeah.
She's just being checked over because that tackle was
Let me know if you want me to head
an arm around the neck.
I've got a comment on my notes saying, yes, that is her natural hair colour.
Oh, bless her. She must be asked that all the time.
Yeah, she's air ground steward at Grise Norton, and she plays rugby league and rugby union for the RAF as well.
Very common double codes here as the RAF look to make their lead safer. And they've piled over. Brilliant. And that was an Alice Fisher try.
Oh, brilliant.
For the Royal Air Force.
I'm happy that Alice has got over. I think she's been a real workhorse in this game, offering herself up for loads of carries.
She is delighted. That's 24-14 to the Royal Air Force. And you couldn't really say, Emily, who was the better team in this. Obviously, on paper, if the RAF go on to win this, you know, by the score, they will have been better. But the Royal Navy have really put it out there, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I think in it, like attacking set plays, I think the RAF have definitely got more structure. But the Navy just seem to have pulled out some fab stuff on the bounce. Lots of it coming through Olivia, and she is really instrumental in the team. Like I said, she's the feisty one. She'll give them something to work for and encourage them. So hopefully she can rile them up now and maybe get over another score before full time.
Kate Seagrave here with quite a tough kick and into the sun as well. It's definitely got the height. Brilliant kick, and the RAF are celebrating that because that is the end of the game. It is 26-14 to Royal Air Force. What a brilliant game of rugby league, Emily White. Both of them deserved a win, but what they really deserved was a fantastic showpiece game of rugby league. And you know, there were mistakes on both sides, but I think we came here today expecting this to be a one-off, and there we have it.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with all the girls. My heart goes out to the Navy. They shouldn't feel disheartened in their performance. They've done brilliantly. Hopefully they've all got some good celebrations planned for tonight and can all go and have a good time, whether that's together, both the teams, or separately. So well done to them all.
Yeah, I mean, you know, after 2 matches where we haven't seen a score against the British Army, it's just been brilliant to see that those teams, the RAF ladies and the Royal Navy ladies, have that capability. And I hope they watch this back and really appreciate what skills they have and, you know, where their strengths are. And what Matty Bayliss is very good at, he'll look at all the positives in this match. He'll find all the positives for the Royal Navy, but keeping it real. And he says, you know, they're at the beginning of a sort of 5-year plan. And because they've got so many good cross-codes players, you know, they'll bring that strength in from rugby union as well. But yeah, I'm just delighted that was a good showpiece, and what a brilliant pitch to play it on as well. There was privileged to have such a good pitch to play on.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's something that's so important. We need to make this something that's worth playing in and make the girls want to show up, to encourage the numbers and the talent to go through the roof, and for them to come through in future years and challenge us as the Army.
Yeah.
Not in my time, though.
She got that one in there before we go off air. Well, we'll hope to hear from one of the, or even both maybe, of the RAF co-captains. We'll wait and bring that to you. Of course, there's unlikely to be a presentation because the inter-services has already been won, but it's been a brilliant day here at Wakefield. Don't go too far from your sofa or wherever you're watching, because we will be bringing you the men's game, senior men's game, at 6:30. So another hour and 10 minutes until that, but we will be on air from 6:15. And yeah, the Royal Navy, you know, they will have a lot of positives, but I don't know, it's difficult. I think if I was in their position, I hate losing, you know, and I hate losing and coming third out of a tournament when there's only 3 in the tournament. But you know, they're on an upward spiral, and there were some really, really positive moments in there. So let's wait and see if we can speak to one of the RAF captains. Okay, so we are going to have a presentation of sorts. I think they'll have, they called it the Women of Steel last weekend, whether or not, but it's basically player of the match, isn't it? So we're going to have a little bit of presentation. We'll just see how that goes, because just because it's the military, you're very good at creating a cup for any match. So I imagine there's some kind of cup.
Yeah, definitely. So there is a cup between us and the RAF, and a cup between us and the Navy.
So you're imagining there's one between
them.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see. We'll bring that presentation to you live, and then hopefully we'll be able to get a chat with a couple of the captains. I mean, Emily, you know, you've come armed with so much information today. Do you feel, though, that, you know, from this position you've been able to sort of appreciate, you know, what your Royal Navy and Royal Air Force colleague, is it a different perspective watching from up here and, you know, actually talking about the game?
Yeah, I think it's so difficult to commentate, so I do not envy your job. But it has been an absolute privilege to watch these girls from this advantage point and to see how they're playing their games. Maybe give me a little insight into how to play against them better. We won't tell them
they won't want that.
But no, it's been an absolute privilege, so thank you for having me, and hopefully by reading out the stuff and information about the girls and sharing about their careers and their lives, it will encourage more people to be interested in women's rugby league and more women to want to play and make this a big thing.
Well, listen, you know, the likes of you, and we've had Damien Clayton, we've had Matty Bayliss, we've had, you know, people from far and wide who come and give us the information. And my job isn't hard. I'm just here to make things tick over. You know, for you to have brought all that information and almost make these girls come alive. I'll just shut up for a minute so we can hear the presentation, and we'll come back in a minute, Emily.
We're going to move on to the presentations now. To present the player of the match, we have our Rugby League Hall of Famer Julia Lee, the first ever female match official to officiate a rugby fixture in either code, and the winner of the player of the match is Royal Air Force number 18, Hannah South.
Here we go, ladies. At me, please.
I just wanted to say how great it is to see the women's game develop and to see where we are and the journey that is going on. Really close game there. Well done to the Royal Navy. You put up a real good test for our team there, so thank you very much for today. And also, I thought it was only right that we took this opportunity when we've got a real champion of Women's Rugby League here with us to ask Julie if she wouldn't mind just saying a few words for us to everyone that's here. Julie, over to you.
Thank you very much. Well, just absolutely outstanding. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of that. And I get quite emotional when I see women's sport and women playing on such a stadium and playing for, you know, something so important, particularly as a 9-year-old girl when I was told girls don't play rugby league. So to me, it really gladdens to my heart to see you playing competitively, giving that commitment, all that great communication skill, and just being awesome athletes, really. The rise of women's sport is now, and in my heart is, you women, go out there and bloody grab it, get your place in the sun and be the best that you can be, giving you 100% commitment, and just go and get it. We've paved the way for you. Go get it and be the best that you can and achieve everything that you want to achieve. So thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the presentations. And once more, congratulations to the Royal Air Force women.
Well, Emily, a very deserved player of the match there to Hannah South. Mainly for her 2 tries, but she did really make an impact, didn't she? In a team where there are a lot of impact players.
Yeah, she had some really good strong carries. She did really well. I think you could have thrown a blanket over loads of them there competing for that Man of the Match award, but yeah, really good.
Okay, well, fantastic. Look, we now have the 2 co-captains of the RAF, Chelsea Greasley and Alice Fisher. They're speaking to Kira Shell.
So we are here with the RAF women's captains, Chelsea
well played.
Thank you. I think every time we play the Navy, it's always a close game. Like, we never come out and underestimate them as a team. And every game, it's a battle. But yeah, again, we're successful this year.
Yeah, it did come out incredibly close. But let's have a little chat about that first half. You guys started out so strong. What was going through your minds? What did you kind of plan for in that first half?
We just planned to play our game, take it to them, and keep them in their half, defending, tire them out, and then just play the rugby that we're used to playing. Ship the ball when we wanted to, and it was on our terms, not theirs.
Absolutely, it was wonderful to watch. And then the Navy came back with an absolute stormer of a second half. How did you guys adapt your play to kind of work with what was a very, very different second half?
I think obviously we were struggling with subs due to injuries and everything like that, and I think the point was just to play smart, so no silly offloads, that kind of thing. We played to our strengths, and yeah, we dug deep, and strong defence as well, I think, was on our side.
Absolutely, and the commentary, they were talking a little bit about how across kind of all of services, rugby league, there's a lot of new players to the sport, there's a lot of players that have like a lot of experience and are potentially moving on from the services. So what would you say to anyone out there who's kind of looking to get into rugby league at the minute?
It's available wherever now, literally all over the UK. There's rugby league clubs setting up at community level or the top level, so if it's a sport that you want to give a go, then 100% back yourself and get in there.
Absolutely. Congratulations, ladies. I'll let you go celebrate.
Thank you.
Well done.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Well, great to hear from Alice Fisher and Chelsea Greasley from the RAF there as they win against the Royal Navy in the final weekend of Inter-Services Rugby League, and it's been a brilliant day. Please do stay with us. We are live again at 6:15. That's in 45 minutes on Forces News Facebook and Forces News YouTube, just for the pinnacle of this and the end of Inter-Services Rugby. And of course, it's all to play for in the RAF Royal Navy senior men's game. So do join us then. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and thank you so much for your messages wherever you are around the Forces world. I'm Kath Brazier. It's over and out from me, and we'll see you shortly.